What is up? What is up? YouTube, how y'all doing? Sunny is dropping. She dropping some videos, baby. That means she got something up her sleeve that is good for you. And we're gonna get into it right after this intro. Let's check it out.
Growth's got a formula most never learn. You don't need luck or talent, structure is earned. If you're ready to build and you know it's your turn, start with the 4 free videos. Earn as you learn. Click on the more below to sign up.
Click on the links below to watch my 4 free videos. Check this out, man. Sunny is my online coach. I actually signed up for her course and everything, and she talk fast. She can talk fast, and she is upgrading her course because there was one video in the course, y'all, where she wasn't talking. She had this guy talking. She took that out and put something else in, and I was mad. First, I was mad because somebody else was doing the course. I paid you my money, and but anyway, long story short, I was really into what he was saying, and then she took that down. I'm like, what the heck? Every time I look, she changing stuff, but she rocks and rolls real fast. And I really think, to be honest, I think what she's talking about is more for advanced people. And I'm trying to focus on helping people to start learning all this, to start a YouTube channel, to start. So I'm going to set up a meeting because I need to talk to her or talk to somebody that's on her staff or something, man, and say, look, man, I need to start all over again because apparently I don't know what I'm doing. But I can teach and trying to get this thing more niche down. I got it so far. I got it to a point where people are taking the course, people are liking the course, people are learning from me. I'm not good at selling. I'm not good at convincing people that I am the one that's going to help you do a YouTube channel. Does that make sense? There's so much information out there. My information is locked up there with all their stuff. But I said, once I figure this thing out, I am going to show you exactly, because I still think like a beginner. I think from a beginner's point of view. What camera should you buy? Well, that's a zero. So far, I'll save you money on a camera. Use your cell phone. Well, should I buy a ring light? Nope. You can buy any kind of light. In fact, you should be filming by a window. All this type of stuff, man. I done bought $80,000 worth of equipment, y'all. And I use one camera that set up the microphone, some headphones, and I got 2 monitors to get this done. So out of $80,000 worth of equipment, I probably use $1,000 worth of equipment. Real talk. Okay, $2,000. Now you can save up $2,000 plus the $9,000 I paid Sunny. Anyway, man, y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's see what this online YouTube coach, she's my coach, man. Talk too fast though, Sunny, but I love you to death. Here we go.
I'm about to say something that might feel like a punch in the gut.
Yes,
Traditional
you are.
online courses are over. If your plan is to record videos, upload them to a platform, and just magically make money, you're playing a bit of a losing game. And I say that as someone who's built courses just like that, very successfully, but I shut them all down years ago, and I've spent the last 7 years building a different approach to online education that's now helped thousands of people turn their skills, their expertise into scalable businesses. So I'm gonna break down that model in this video and how you can apply it for yourself. Because yes, the space has changed. It's not quite a death, but it is an evolution. And you either will adapt or lose. Here's the thing. Who is the #1 teacher in the world at this point? AI. AI can teach you information better, faster, and for free. Not to mention platforms like YouTube as well. There is a plethora of information. We are drowning in it. Just last year, there were over 2.5 billion prompts per day on ChatGPT, and that is double the volume that they saw in 2024. But here's the part most people are missing. For a long time, courses worked because information was scarce. If you knew something that other people didn't, then you could package that and you could sell it as a course. But now that has completely changed because we've never had this much supply of information and free information in our life. We are overwhelmed with instant access. You could also say we're overwhelmed with instant info. And that's why it's become harder to sell a traditional course, not because people don't want results, it's because they don't feel or see the value in just strictly information packaged. And I'm not sitting here saying that AI is the enemy. Love AI, use it, have tools built around it.
Right.
And I'm not saying free information is the problem. In fact, I would actually argue that those avenues have made the new way to do online education that much more valuable. And I'm going to get into why and exactly how to execute on it in a second. If you're really serious about this, we put together the Knowledge Bank business plan that can take the skills, the expertise in your head and help you with a step-by-step process of turning it into an online education business in this new model. So comment Knowledge Bank below and we'll send you the guide to access it on demand. So here's the big difference. There are now so many ways to learn information, and AI and YouTube, great places to teach information, but humans create transformation. That is the difference. And that's where the real opportunity is now. And we've been teaching it for 7 years to thousands of people to turn their skills and their expertise into these scalable businesses. The people that are going to win moving forward, they're not just selling these traditional recorded packaged programs. They're selling something that cannot be replaced. And it's really a combination of the best of all worlds. So let me break it down. But before we get into the model and the old way of doing things versus the new way of doing things, I just want to mention there are certain things that cannot be replaced. And that's why I'm saying this information age that we're living in, it is making actual wisdom that much more valuable. So the things that cannot be replaced and that you actually want to lean into are things like your hard-earned wisdom and expertise through hands-on experience, the surprising challenges and struggles of achieving an outcome that you wouldn't know how to navigate if you've never done it. True accountability, human-to-human accountability, and also connectivity and community. Peer-to-peer learning, human connection, being able to talk to a real person, those things cannot be replaced. That's why the way forward is to build a truly human experience that aligns with your program materials to truly create this effective change for your clients and your members. So there really are sort of 4 camps of kind of the old models in online education. And listen, some of these still work okay, and some of them have benefits. But if you can find a way to combine them, which is what I'm going to share with you in a minute, that's where the real magic happens. So let's go through these old way models first. So let me lay these out. So it starts with one-to-one, which you're probably familiar with. That just means one-to-one consulting, one-to-one coaching. So you're doing everything in a silo. It can be really effective, obviously, because it's nice to be able to customize to each person that you're working with completely. But you run into the similar trap that generally you're trying to avoid when you're starting a business, which is it's not scalable because you are completely capped by the hours in the day. Okay, so then you have membership. So membership models are wonderful and they can work really well, but your biggest pain point is going to be retention, and membership models require you to constantly be innovating in terms of the content you create, the programming that you're making available, all of those extra pieces of the puzzle. And also it tends to kill profitability and cash flow because you're getting small incremental payments over time as opposed to a large influx of cash up front. So it's just a model that takes a lot of admin, a lot of care in how you structure it, and a whole lot of your time and attention to really make it successful and, most importantly, transformative for the people who are in it. Number 3 is a traditional course. So I've talked about this. That is simply you record some videos, you put it on a platform and hope that somebody someday is going to buy it. So that is something that, with the influx of information that we're all dealing with on a daily basis, people just don't find them as desirable anymore because they can mostly learn what they need to learn for free on the internet. Actually, recently just heard a friend of mine, her mom is a therapist, and she has lost about 10 clients because they've been going to ChatGPT for their therapy instead of going to sessions. That sounds nuts, but this is just, the nature of the beast right now. That's not the most reliable source, but people are finding other ways to get their access to information. Number 4 is the cohort model. And this can be really effective because people can go through all at the same time. It creates this incredible energy and accountability. But again, it requires your time and attention for a set period. It's not necessarily the most scalable model because it has confines and constraints on it. And also the biggest challenge with cohorts is that you tend to get people in and excited and they're all ready for the start date. But the nature of people is they're not all going to do it at the same pace. So then you have people who feel left behind. They feel like they're failing. They feel like they're not as successful as everybody else, and then they give up and quit. And they don't have any ongoing access to support or to a container where they can do it at their pace that makes more sense for them. It's a very structured situation where you're doing it maybe over the span of like 2 months. And that makes it really hard for people to get what they need out of it if they're not as accountable as everybody else. So then let's shift into the new way, which kind of takes the best aspects of all of these pieces and combines them into one. And this is also, like I said, from my own experience of working in the online education space for over a decade now, almost 15 years, which makes me feel old, but I've been doing this a long time and I've tried many different models. So I was able to really come to a place where I realized, this is where people tend to get the most out of it and they get the best results with this combination. So it's the 3C model, we call it, but there's also another thing that I'm going to add in here in a second. So it starts with your curriculum. You have to be able to extract from your skill set, from your expertise, an actual methodology. This is where most people screw up, go wrong, and end up in the one-to-one rabbit hole of constantly chasing down one-on-one clients and getting capped by their time. The sacrifice, which is actually a massive benefit of creating a model that is scalable, is you have to be very, very, very dialed in and specific to the outcome that you're going to create for your clients, because you only want to work with clients who want that specific outcome. You cannot teach everything to everyone. So an example of that would be you try and create a program on business. You're going to get the flower shop owner, you're going to get an online coach, you're going to get the cleaning company, you're going to get everybody under the sun. And there are different nuances to how you grow each of those businesses. So instead, as an example, one of our clients teaches people how to create profitable cleaning businesses, and they have absolutely nailed that niche, and they've scaled to over $100,000 a month by being so focused and specific, and their clients get great results. So methodology comes first. We call it the 0 to hero transformation. From your expertise, how can you take somebody from where they're most challenged to where they most want to be? That's your curriculum. From there, you have coaching. But it's not one-on-one coaching, although it feels like that a lot of the time, because you're able to speak to people one-to-one on a Zoom call, for example, but there just happens to be a community of folks that are in the same spot as that person who are able to listen in. So you're having these one-on-one conversations just in a group setting. So we call that coaching at scale, because what it does is it accelerates growth, because there's many people on those calls that have the exact same question who are either too afraid to ask, or they haven't even thought of the question yet. And then when somebody else asks it, they go, oh my gosh, that unlocked. And now I'm going to accelerate forward. The third part of it is community, which I will say is the most magical part about these kinds of programs. And everybody that we work with, they say their community is their favorite thing, because it's where members are able to cheer each other on. They hold each other accountable. We've had members in our community get married, meet and get married. Okay.
Wow.
Actually multiple.
Wow.
So it's really just an incredible human connection. So between the coaching and the community, there is a massive human element involved. There's accountability involved, and there's forward momentum because of the group setting and everybody accelerating their learning by learning from one another. So if you're serious about turning your skills, your expertise, your knowledge into a scalable program in this model, be sure to comment knowledge bank below this video. We'll send you the link to access the guide on demand. But here's what's really interesting about this. All of this entire model is predicated on the most important part, which is going to sound very familiar, and it is the cohort. The cohort has to come first. So this is what we call your profitable offer prototype. And what that means is that you start with a version of your methodology, your curriculum that is not built. And the key here is that you actually are going to sell before it's built. Why do you do this? Well, let me tell you a little story. We had a client who spent 2 years building his program, okay? 2 years. In complete isolation, doing so much research, thinking it was going to be incredible. And in this case, this is what we call the curse of the expert. If you know something really well inside and out, your tendency and the mistake you're going to make is you're going to brain dump it all into a program. What does that do? What did we talk about as the problem at the beginning of this video? It's just more information. That's the last thing people are looking for. Right now, particularly, people are interested in getting the outcome they're looking for as efficiently as possible. So this person spent 2 years, launched the program that he had built end to end, looked beautiful, and no one bought. Okay? Then he applied our model, and he's now scaled to 10 million in 4 years. Okay, so massive difference. The reality is, if you build in isolation, you're most likely going to hear crickets when you try to launch a program because you haven't got any validation or proof that people want it. So we kind of flipped the whole process on its head. And because I come from a journalism background, I like the process of interviewing people. And I think you can learn something from everybody you speak to. So the process that we go through is you're not selling necessarily off the bat, but what you are doing is you're building an audience from scratch. And you're building an audience from day one in the most efficient manner. Okay, because most people try to build a massive audience and then hope that something will sell. Or they build a course in isolation for years and then it doesn't sell because there's no audience to buy. So we're kind of combining those and doing it at the same time. So the process looks like this. You identify, okay, what do I want my outcome to be for my program? Great, that's the starting point. Then you identify where is the person at when they're in the most pain and they want to get out of that and get to the outcome. Wonderful. We now have our starting point for our curriculum and our ending point for our curriculum. We know exactly the path we want to take them on to get there. That becomes your curriculum and your methodology. You lay that outline out week over week for 6 to 8 weeks. Every week you teach live. Now, how do you get the clients in there? So before you go ahead and teach that live and you're getting real world feedback and you're iterating on the fly, which you will find very valuable because the amount of people who have done this process and said, I was going to build this in an entirely different way and I would have wasted so much time. I'm so glad I did it this way is astounding. Okay. So you got to go in and be ready for feedback so you can make it the best it can be for when you do scale it. The process of getting your clients is quite simple. It's a process of interviewing people who are a match for that ideal client who's at that challenge state. And where do these people come from? A lot of our clients are not even on or using social media. They're using things like forums. They're using things like their offline network. They're using things like their peer group. They're using things like their friends and family. And then they're asking, do you know anybody who is struggling with this? And you'd be shocked when you start asking that question, how many people are going to kind of show up and say, yeah, I do, or I am. So you just start the process of interviewing people. And all you're going to do in these interviews is to ask, what are you struggling most with this? What's keeping you up at night? If you could solve it, what would you need to solve it? What are you looking for in a solution? If you could wave a magic wand and achieve this result or this outcome, what would need to happen? They're giving you exactly what they need what they want and what needs to be included in the curriculum. So you have the outline, and then you take that feedback and you start to plug it in where it's necessary. So you just start the whole process with an outline. Once you have your interviews done, you also then have a pipeline of potential buyers. And after every interview, you say, do you happen to know anybody else struggling with this? Great. They refer somebody else. Some cases they refer 5, 10 people. Wonderful. You start to build out this client pipeline of ideal clients without having to be marketing all the time. So when you do that, once you do the interviews, then come back. And on those calls, you can also say, I'm going to build something to solve this problem. Do you want to hear about it when I make it? And you better believe everybody says, yes, please. Because if somebody has a problem, what do they want? They want a solution. And you know what? They want more than that. They want to know there's someone out there who actually took the time to listen to them, cares about them, and has built trust with them, because that's who they want to work with. So most of the time, these interviews turn into your entire first cohort, not through posting a bunch of reels on Instagram, doing a bunch of TikTok dances. It's really quite simple. And I know it almost sounds too simple. It's probably breaking your brain a little bit, but we watch this happen every single day. We actually just had somebody generate the majority of her interviews through simply posting in one targeted Facebook group. She didn't know anybody in there. She shared her story, her experience in helping people solve this problem, and she was inundated with interviews. Okay? So consider that. So then you have your whole process. You do the interviews, you go back to those people, you say, hey, I built the thing that you need. Wonderful. And then you deliver your first cohort. You get incredible results. You build the base of a phenomenal community because everybody's in there together doing it live for the first time. There's such an energy about it. You start to see the little wins happen. You don't need the whole transformation to happen in that first 6 to 8 weeks. You just need to watch the micro progress. And then those people have access to that program and the material once it's pre-recorded, so they can continue to go through it and get that support and have access to the coaching calls and have access to the community. And then you can set the time frame for how long you want that to be. But it's not like you're cutting them off after the cohort happens. So they get the best of all worlds. And that's why the model has been so effective and so efficient for so many of our clients. So our online course is dead? No, because nothing really ever dies. They just evolve. And that's what's happening. So we're seeing an evolution in online education. But again, we've been teaching this model for 7 years. And we have so many people who have done it successfully over the years and built these incredible businesses in this way that allow them to detach all their time from their income. So they can free up their time, but make a massive impact outside of, let's say, just their local area or outside of what their calendar is going to allow them to do. From doctors to dancers to lawyers to everything in between. So no, online courses are not dead, but they are evolving, and online education is booming. If you look at the stats, it's just continuing to grow. In fact, it's set to hit over $1 trillion by 2032. So there is absolutely demand, especially since 2020. People are going online to learn and to create transformation in a more efficient way. Also, we're seeing that some people are turning to online programs as opposed to traditional education models like university and college. So there are so many different applications of online education and there's so many ways to do it. But what we have found in doing this for so long and with so many different people is that having a hybrid approach and having this sort of new way methodology and model of doing it is the way to combine the human expertise that cannot be replaced with the advances that we're seeing in technology. It's just the reality of kind of where we're at this point. I started on YouTube when nobody was talking about social media. I think there were 3 other channels. So I lived through the high demand for information stage, and I'm now seeing the full inverse. And so you got to kind of ride the wave. And what I will say is, in being in business for now 20 years, you got to adapt. So I hope this was helpful for you to understand it's not about fear. It's not about freaking you out, but it is saying knowledge is power at the end of the day. And if you can use it to evolve your model or implement a new model for your business, the sky really is the limit. If you want to bring this all together and turn your skill set or expertise into a scalable online program with that beautiful human touch, be sure to comment Knowledge Bank below and we'll send you our Knowledge Bank business plan. We'll send you the link and you can access it on demand. So if you want to kind of bring this to the next step, be sure to watch this video next on how to generate an income, make money on YouTube from day one as a vehicle to scale your online program. It's
amazing, man. Sunny is amazing. She is amazing. Y'all check her channel out. Go see what she's talking about. It's amazing, man. Every time I'm in the course and every time I'm looking at the things that she's talking about, I'm like, dang, man, but I gotta figure it out. I gotta put it together. I'm putting it together, baby. I'm putting it together. Look here, y'all. I'm gonna get on up out of here. If you trying to learn how to do YouTube and get them 1,000 subscribers, you need to check this video out right here. Hey, y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.